Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Business once again. Now, as you're aware, I'm discussing about the Brexit impact on Lloyd's of London, and part 5 we are discussing about the impact of Brexit on the delegate authority business, cover holder and binder summation or bordereau summation process. Not binder summation, bordereau summation process. For the sake of simplicity, I have divided this part 5 into 3 subparts. In the previous video presentation, we have discussed about the part number 1. We have discussed about some of the basic definition which is involved in the binding authority business. In part 2, we are going to discuss and understand the impact of Brexit on the delegate authority business, specifically on the cover holder. And in part 3 or part C, we are going to discuss about the impact of Brexit on the bordereau submission process. So for those who are new to my channel, I'm Ravi Shankar. I'm having more than 15 years of experience in business analysis, largely associated with PNC or general insurance domain. If you have any query related to this video presentation or my previous video presentation, you can drop me an email at ravi.s.sharma@hotmail.com, or you can also connect me at my LinkedIn profile. So without wasting much time, let's keep talking business. Now, as I said earlier, in this series or in the part B, we are going to discuss and understand the impact of Brexit specifically on the cover holder. So first thing first is to discuss about the impact of Brexit on the binding authority contract. So the point number 1, talk about the commercial terms and conditions. So the commercial terms and conditions should be agreed between the managing agent on behalf of Lloyd's Brussels, cover holder and broker. Or if you can recall, I've discussed about the entire setup between the Lloyd's Brussels and the Lloyd's of London managing agent is based on the outsourcing agreement, where the Lloyd's Brussels has outsourced some of their powers to the managing agent sitting in the Lloyd's of London. And this outsourcing arrangement serves as a basis of understanding. Now, the second part is about the cover holder appointment agreement. A new cover holder appointment agreement wording has been created based on the existing binder terms. So the existing binder terms serve as a fundamental while creating the new cover holder agreement. The second point is about the binding risk and declarations. So how this is going to get impacted because of Brexit. So let's talk about the certificate and the policy first. So the certificate and policy wording issued by the cover holder on behalf of Lloyd's Brussels must clearly identify Lloyd's Insurance Company SA. This is the formal name of Lloyd's Brussels, and not the Lloyd's underwriter as a security. So they are not going to write the Lloyd's underwriter from the London in their contract. So they are going to put Lloyd's Insurance Company SA on the insurance contract. The second thing is about the co-branded certificate and policy. So the certificate and policy may be co-branded with the identity of managing agent and reinsurance syndicate. The third point is about the risk locator available at Crystal. So Crystal is, by the way, a tool which will help a managing agent to locate the risk, where the risk belongs to the EA or non-EA. I've already discussed about the Crystal. I will provide the link to the Crystal information below this video. So the cover holder should continue to use the risk locator available at Crystal to assist in ensuring the risks are bound correctly to the Lloyd's Brussels. The third part is about the claim payment. Now the Lloyd's Brussels will ensure that the Lloyd's claim standards are always met without any compromise. The quality in dealing with the claim is paramount here. The claim process will remain same as it today, with the managing agent claim team being responsible for managing the process on behalf of Lloyd's Brussels. Now, again, this they are going to perform under the contract of outsourcing. So the Lloyd's Brussels, they have already outsourced the claim management to the managing agent claim management team. Going forward, the cover holder oversight and approval. So here, the very important term come into the picture, which is grandfathering agreement. So the existing Lloyd's cover holder that currently underwrite EA risk will grandfather as approved cover holder of Lloyd's Brussels. Now, the important question here is, what is grandfathering? Is an exemption that allow person or entity to continue with the activity or operate that were approved before the implementation of the new rules and regulations or law. Generally speaking, a grandfather clause only exempt people or entity engaged in a specific activity prior to the new rule being put in place, while all other party must abide with the new rules and regulations. So all those existing cover holders that are currently underwriting EEA risk will be protected under the existing rule, or will be working under the existing rule. Now coming to the approval process, any new cover holder that proposes to underwrite EEA business on behalf of Lloyd Brussels will need to be approved. The approval process will be same as it today. Now the third important point is day-to-day cover holder management. Now the day-to-day cover holder management and compliance will continue to be managed by the managing agent, but Lloyd's Brussels will be responsible for oversight of this arrangement. Now let's move ahead and talk about the submission of data. The DSAT platform is mandatory for all the premium, risk and claim bordereau submissions. So whenever the Lloyd's Brussels need to submit the data back to the Lloyd's of London, they must use the DSAT platform to send the data back to the Lloyd's of London. The second important thing is about the cover holder data standards. So the data to be submitted will need to comply with the existing common cover holder data standard. It is a consistent data set which is already mandatory. Now let's talk about the very common high-level binder placement process which is in place currently. The binder first need to be negotiated between the cover holder or service company. Now the service company, as you remember, is a fully owned subsidiary of managing agent or managing agent parent company. Under this negotiation, the broker and the cover holder or service company will get into the agreement, terms and condition, and create the binder MRC. Now in pre-bind process, the regulatory Lloyd's and MA requirement need to be satisfied, QC need to be satisfied, and technical check need to be performed in order to make sure the MRC is having all the sufficient information before going to get binded. Now in the bind process, MRC is going to get agreed or binded, and the MRC is going to get the stamp, and the formal binder is going to get issued. Now once the binder is agreed, stamped and issued, this binder will be registered into the bar application, and all the ongoing post-bind check will need to be performed, and this step fall under the post-bind process. Now let's talk about the future high-level binder placement process. Now the first step here is the new cover holder appointment agreement. Using the new subsidiary cover holder appointment agreement wording, a new CA is created based on the existing binder term. The MA is fully authorized to negotiate the CA, but the contract is between the subsidiary and the cover holder, which means that the subsidiary means that the Lloyd's Brussels. The second stage is about the CEA negotiations. So in CEA negotiation, the terms are discussed between the syndicate, cover holder and broker. The syndicate and cover holder will ensure that they have happy with the terms and condition required for internal compliance, and approval check are completed as required. So the third point in this stage is about the agreement. The agreement as to which the party will submit the bordereau to DSAT will be agreed. Going forward about the binding risk. In binding risk, the regulatory, internal and subsidiary, which is Lloyd's Brussels, check are completed. Terms and conditions are finalized and checked. The CAA MRC is bound using the subsidiary stem and sent to the structured data capture SDC service. Now, I've already discussed about the SDC services. The main function of this SDC service is to capture the information from MRC and convert this information to the electronic message, which called as a GPM, Global Placement Message. Global Placement Message is nothing but the accord messages. And I will provide the link to this SDC under this video description for your better understanding. Going next to the documentation, the cover holder will amend any document or schedule produced under the CA to show the Lloyd's Insurance Company SA as an insurer, not the syndicate in Lloyd's of London. So when it comes to the tacit renewal requirement, the letter must be issued to the insured to inform about the change. Now going forward on the ongoing business side, the CA is registered and amended in the bar and in the DSAT system for the later administration. The subsidiary will receive the CA MRC via the SDC and loaded into the subsidiary policy administration system for the better management and the reporting. Now let's discuss about the cover holder placement process. Now here we have the actor DA, broker, managing agent, Atlas Bar, SDC and LBS. So the new CA will be created. and the new CA will be discussed between the broker, managing agent, and the cover holder. Once the terms and conditions are agreed, the broker will create the CA MRC, and based on the agreement, the managing agent or broker or maybe the cover holder will upload the MRC into the bar and the Atlas system. Now, from here, the data will move to the SDC, and the SDC service will convert the MRC into the GPM message, and this GPM message will be received by the LBS and processed within the Lloyd's Brussels Subsidiary Policy Administration System. Now, at this stage, if they have any query, they will raise the query back to the broker or managing agent. Once everything is settled, they will register the policy into their own system, and at the end of the month, depending on the agreement, CA agreement, they will report it back to the syndicate about their business. And then the syndicate or managing agent will managing the report and the reconciliation, like how many business they have received and how many business the LBS or Brussels subsidiary issued. Now look at the few specific points about the impact of Brexit on the entire process. Now here at the first point is about the create CA process. Now here they are using the existing terms and subsidiary wording when they are creating a new CAA. One of the important point during the discussion or agreement terms and condition is who will submit the data to the DSAT platform. It may be a cover holder, it may be a broker, it may be a managing agent, but it has to be clearly written into the terms and conditions. Now all the data, all the border information must be version 5.2 compliant. Now the stamp which they are going to use to stamp the MRC will be a Lloyd's Brussels subsidiary stamp, not the managing agent stamp sitting in the Lloyd's of London. Now here, when it comes to processing the GPM message into the LBS system, the LBS system will perform the business and data validation. The documents or the schedule under CA will show the Lloyd Insurance Company as the insurer rather than the managing agent sitting in the Lloyd's of London. Now let's look at the CA processing from various systems point of view. The first system is Atlas. Now under this Atlas system, the Lloyd's Brussels approval for any new EA cover holder will take place. The grandfathering of existing cover holder approved for EA territories need to be registered here in the Atlas system. Now the bar system is used to register the binding authority or CEA, and the broker will update the binding authority into the bar system based on the terms and conditions which agreed between the broker, cover holder and the managing agent. The third system is SDC, which is used for the CA submission. Now each managing agent submit their version of CA to SDC. GPM message will receive by managing agent and LBS. Now the lead managing agent based on the contract will submit the contract into the SDC portal in order to send it to the DSAT platform. Now in DSAT, the cover holder contractual level information will be checked and updated. Once completed, the lead managing agent must set the state to the signed, which means that the contract is now bind. Now once the contract is bind, the broker submit the final CA to DXC for further processing, DXC, SIS or XCS processes, and the contract will store into the IMR system. And in return, the direct USM will send to the Lloyd's Brussels and the RI USM will send to the managing agent. Now that's all about the impact of Brexit on the cover holder and the cover holder appointment agreement process. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you gained some knowledge. This is the end of part B and we will soon meet in part C. Thank you and God bless you.